Okay, inference procedures. Instead of doing a specific FRQ, we're just going to kind of talk in general because the biggest issue with inference procedures, this is what we spent like the whole second semester doing. Um, and so I think you guys are good with the process. The state plan do conclude. The issue is choosing the right procedure. Okay, so you have this paper here where I've laid them all out for you. There are 13 different procedures that we have learned between confidence intervals and hypothesis tests. So again, the biggest issue is not going to be doing the procedure, it's going to be choosing the right one. All right, so I kind of laid this out for you. What I want you to do is go through and for each procedure, what would you need to write for state? What would you need to write for plan, what for do, and what for conclude? Okay, that way you have it all in one place to study from. And then on the back of the last page, there's this little flow chart which can help you decide which significance test, if it's asking for a hypothesis test, what are we going to do? Okay, now this is a key point here. Do they want a hypothesis test or significance test? Those are the same thing. Do they want a hypothesis test or do they want a confidence interval? All right, this is where we have to read carefully. Most of the time, it will say for a confidence interval, it will say construct and interpret a 95% confidence interval. It's very clear that's what they want. All right. For significance tests, usually it'll say, is there convincing evidence? All right. Or something along those lines. So you have to read carefully. Remember, when we do confidence intervals, we do not need hypotheses. So if they ask you to construct and interpret a confidence interval, you should not be writing a null and alternative hypothesis. Okay, those are only for significance tests. The thing that I want to highlight for you guys that we mess up a lot in the plan step are conditions. Okay. Remember, for large counts, there's two different things that we look at. Sometimes we look at n times p and n times 1 minus p, and we want that number to be greater than 10. That is when we're doing it for a proportion. All right, so if we're doing a proportion, it's n times p, n times 1 minus p. If we're doing for a mean, we're just looking, is n greater than or equal to 30? All right, so we got to do something to make sure that we get that straight in our brain because that's the thing that we mess up a lot. And then like test taking strategy, if you know that's something you struggle with remembering, when you get to the FRQ section of your test, or even the multiple choice too, write that on your scratch paper, right? As soon as you start, before you read any question, just write out on your scratch paper what those conditions are. So that way you don't have to think about it in your memory. You just have it there on the paper to refer to. Okay. So what you're going to do is you can spend a little time at home and then class, like filling out this paper, and then you're going to have some practice on choosing the correct procedure.